sorry. Sugar. Fine. All at the back there, yeah? We're all good. We're nearly there. Trip over this. Okay. Hello. My name is Michael Pike, aka Spike. I am a former British soldier. I was here in 1981. I was 21 years old. What did I know at that age? I'm now a member of Veterans for Peace, a poet, and a peace activist. And I'm going to talk to you about imperialism and the military's role in imperialism. So I'm just going to go straight into it. The military's role in imperialism is absolute. Without the military, without the well-conditioned, without the well-trained and courage of the common man and woman, the imperialist has no clout, no teeth. So in order to swell the ranks, they have painted the military as glamorized, glorified, romanticized heroes. The promise of travel, adventure, money, status. Sound bites that challenge young minds, advert that seduce young egos. This is belonging. Are you tough enough? Brave enough? Strong enough to be the best? It's all lies. So having been seduced and signed up, how do they turn a young mind into a machine, a robot? Basically, young recruits are put through a highly developed and insidious crash course of military training. They will strip them down, strip them of their individuality and their humanity, and rebuild them to act on command, to obey orders without question. They will develop amongst the group a gang-like mentality. I could do a whole talk on military training. Unfortunately, time won't allow me. They teach you to hate. They teach you to hate other regiments, other sections of the armed forces. They also teach you to hate civilians. Now, if one is taught to hate civilians in one's own country, how much more contempt would one have for civilians on foreign shores? They teach you to kill. So we are left with a highly trained, well-conditioned machine, ready to fight, ready to kill, to obey orders without question. It is this blind obedience that leads young men thrusting and twisting bayonets into the guts of other young men, or opening fire on unarmed innocent civilians. I could give 1,000 examples, but I'll give you just 3. Amritsar, 1919. Ballymurphy, 1971. And Derry, 1972. Now at this juncture, I'm going to leave my original script, as the subject of Bloody Sunday has been raised again in the media regarding bringing criminal charges against one of the soldiers involved in that mass killing. Now, if you thought British imperialism was a dying entity, have a listen to what Gavin Williamson has to say on the matter. I'm only going to read a section, and then I'll read my response to his tweet. So this is from Gavin Williamson. The welfare of our former service personnel is of the utmost importance, and we will offer full legal and pastoral support to the individuals affected by today's decision. This includes funding all his legal costs and providing welfare and support. The Ministry of Defence is working across government to drive through a new package of safeguards to ensure our armed forces are not unfairly treated. My response to Mr. Williamson: it's all piss and wind. Do you honestly think the British establishment give a toss about Soldier F? They certainly don't give a damn about former soldiers sleeping rough in prison, or the ones so mentally messed up after years of obeying orders that they take the suicide option. They certainly don't give a damn about those murdered on Bloody Sunday or their families. This is just an exercise in covering one's arse, refusing in typical arrogant fashion to accept any wrongdoing, not just in Derry, but across the globe. Basically, Gavin Williamson is giving those that wear a military uniform a green light to kill indiscriminately and without consequence. Mr. Williamson, the wearing of a uniform should in no way grant one immunity to murder. So back to my original script. So there you have it, over 400 victims of brutal British imperialism. And then they're awarded medals for bravery, for gallantry. To my mind, the biggest insult. Here, brave young person, have a shiny penny and a pat in the head for keeping the rich rich. Then finally, when the soldiers are no longer of any use, they are cast aside like straw dogs, many of whom will leave the military to face a life of penury, pain, and with a pocket full of useless trinkets. Some will end up homeless, as I've mentioned, in prison, or take their own lives. There is no glory in war. All wars are about profit, and the military are nothing but accessories to the rich man's plunder. No one really fights for their country. They fight for the establishment, the rulers, the money men of that country. All wars are proxy, arranged and coerced well in advance of the first shot being fired or the first troops deployed. Lies and propaganda are used to whip up the masses and get them on side. World War I, a war about trading routes and fading empires. A war to keep the rich rich and the royals royal. The monarchy even changed their name from Saxe Coburg and Gotha, as it was deemed too German at the time. So here are some of the insidious methods used by the establishment to swell the ranks needed for the bloodfest that was the Great War. Economic and political coercion. Unemployment was high, the promise of a regular wage and food for the family. There is no greater recruiting sergeant than an empty belly. They would turn up at sporting events such as football matches, using loudspeakers to whip up local and national pride. The rush to colours, come fight for king and empire. They would spread propaganda by way of newspapers and radio broadcast that the dreadful Hun, the Germans, were using babies for bayonet practice. The enraged masses flocked to take the king's shilling, and those that saw through the lies and refused to sign up were branded cowards and traitors. They were shunned, ostracised by their communities, and sometimes by their own family. They were sent the white feather. Now, World War II. There is much we are not told in the history books regarding World War II, much. Hollywood would have us believe that the Americans with bayonets clamped between their teeth swam the Atlantic to save the day, when in fact it took years deciding which side to join before entering World War II. And in reality, we owe Russia a great debt of thanks for defeating the Nazis. Let's focus on the financial backers of World War II. Who financed the German war machine? Quite a list. I'll name a few. J.P. Morgan, W.W. Lamont, the Rockefeller interests, General Electric Company, Standard Oil, National City Banks, Chase Manhattan Banks, Lube and Company, General Motors, the Ford Motor Company, the Federal Reserve Bank, the Bank of England, a lot of banks, and scores of others helped to prepare the bloodiest and most destructive war in history. America made huge profits on the back of World War I and II. Britain borrowed huge amounts for both wars. Britain also made deals like the Balfour Agreement that condemned Palestine to decades of genocide that's still happening to this day. The $6 billion Britain borrowed for World War II was eventually paid to the US in 2008 to the tune of $128 billion. It's all about profit. We could talk about Vietnam and all the other countries affected by the current imperialists, the USA, but let's concentrate in the last 20 years. The Middle East and North Africa, Iraq, the lies that led to the invasion of Iraq. There were no weapons of mass destruction. The lie repeated over and over by war criminals Blair and Bush. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. That was Joseph Goebbels. Saddam was also going to ditch the dollar and start trading in euros. Afghanistan, the repeated newsreel that bin Laden was hiding in a cave there, a lie. Afghanistan was invaded for plunder, opium, natural gas, raw materials used to make mobile phones, laptops, etc. Libya, Gaddafi too was going to ditch the dollar and introduce the African gold dinar. He was accused of murdering his own people, gassing them. Another lie. Syria, Assad refused to be bullied by the West. They too are rich in oil and gas that Israel and the West wish to plunder. Genie Oil are illegally drilling in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights right now. Raw materials that belong to Syria. The West is using the same lie it used about Saddam and Gaddafi. All these wars are about plunder, profit, and government-stroke regime change. And none would have been possible without the blood, sweat, tears, and courage of the average working man and woman, i.e. the soldiers. People, we need to wake up. The rich, those profiteers of war, use the blood of our children like some satanic ritual to meet their agenda. But without our blood, their war machine grinds to a halt. We need to stand up and say, no, we will no longer fight your proxy wars. So to summarise, I'm going to leave you with this poem called Profiteers of War. So we are told, be proud of the rock where we cried our first tears. Be proud of the flag that flutters above our hopes and fears. Be proud of the song we sing together, fearing our man-made God. Then we are told, be proud to fight those that cried their first on a different rock, under a different flag, singing a different song, fearing a different man-made God. Yes, they are proud, but our pride is stronger. Yes, they fight with their God, but our God is greater. Yes, they feel pain, but our pain is deeper. So I say pain for all those affected is surely the same. For it has no flag, no anthem. It knows not race nor skin. There is no heart too strong can stop it getting in. It gives no introduction, nor will reveal its face, like a dagger twisting in your gut, no why, no thought, no grace. It engulfs your very being. It is your darkest dream. It'll cut you wide to release inside a guttural primal scream. So I say to those that feast upon our hollow pride, I have seen the skull behind your crooked smile as you ride that lead-lined carriage along that golden mile. You possess those lands and titles of which you have no right, paid for by the blood of those you sent to fight. So I say to you, profiteers of war, no more knee-deep in mud and blood will we clear those crow-pegged bodies from every field and shore. We'll tell you, greedy bastards, we fight for you no more. We will turn our back on dignitaries and monarchs laying wreaths and tell you, greedy bastards, the slaughter has to cease. We'll not clear those crow-pegged bodies from every blood-soaked field and shore. We'll tell you, greedy bastards, we die for you no more. Thank you.